Now, the thing that originally caught me off guard with psychedelics is when people kept saying, this will be the next cannabis, I immediately imagined walking to a local dispensary, buying a bag of shrooms, and then going home and tripping out. And I just thought, I don't see this being a big market. But the truth is, finding alternatives to traditional pharmaceuticals is a massive opportunity. Just look at the market for antidepressants. It's actually approaching $14 billion, which is kind of a depressing stat in itself. What's even more sad is that many people, there's actually 100 million people right now that don't respond to traditional antidepressant medication. Recently, there's a company called Compass Pathways, and if you know billionaire investor Peter Thiel, he comes from the PayPal mafia with Elon Musk. He invested in this UK company that's doing experimentation using magic mushrooms to treat severe cases of depression. They have been so successful in their trials that the FDA has recently granted breakthrough therapy status. That is incredible. The Food and Drug Administration has given magic mushrooms breakthrough therapy status. That apparently is something that has not happened in over 30 years. So this is really happening. This is actually effective, and there are companies looking to capitalize on this. Now, it's not every day that a brand new industry bursts onto the scene. We saw it with crypto, we saw it with cannabis, and we didn't really think we'd see it again for a long time, but it seems like the potential for psychedelic therapy could be that next trend. Now, I know this is an investing channel and we're here to make money, so I'll play ball. I'm going to give you 3 stocks that you can invest in right now that are using magic mushrooms and other psychedelics for therapy. Now, number 1 is Yield Growth Corp. They trade on the Canadian Securities Exchange under the ticker BOSS, B-O-S-S. What these guys are doing is they're essentially a branding company that has a variety of brands related to cannabis and mushrooms. So they have THC and CBD beverages, they have a hemp skincare line, a bunch of other products, and most recently they've launched a line of mushroom products. So now on the one hand, they're doing medicinal mushroom projects. Think reishi and chaga and lion's mane, turning those into coffees and other interesting elixirs. But on the other hand, what investors are much more excited about is the potential for psychedelic therapy. Now, currently, as you can imagine, psychedelic mushrooms are illegal in most of the world. So what Yield Growth Corp is doing is they're trying to build the infrastructure to be prepared for eventually when it does become legal. And there's a few notable highlights that I found. Number 1, Jeff Smith, the prior chairman for Johnson & Johnson, the world's largest healthcare company, has agreed to become chairman of the board for their mushroom subsidiary, Flourish Mushroom Labs. That in itself is an extremely significant accomplishment. Second of all, they're establishing a research and development lab in a Caribbean island called St. Vincent, where human clinical trials are currently legal. They are already submitting patent applications. The first one they submitted was a patent for microdosing psilocybin for weight loss. So this is a company making a lot of innovative moves in the space and definitely one to keep watching. Now, number 2 is Numinous. They're trading under the stock ticker NUMI, N-U-M-I. And from what I've seen, Numinous essentially has 2 sides to the business. One is heavily science focused in research and development. They make extracted products and they do R&D on things like cannabis for one, but also they have a license to test, buy, and sell restricted substances like MDMA, magic mushrooms, ketamine, all kinds of things that, I mean, to be honest, I didn't know you could get a Government of Canada license for. So the fact that they have that license is extremely valuable. Now, the other side of the business is focused on the clinical aspect of psychedelic therapy. They currently have a healing center right now that offers all kinds of holistic healing solutions like acupuncture, massage, meditation, and a whole bunch of other things. The plan here is to be established so that they can start doing clinical therapy as soon as it's legal. What's fascinating, though, is I actually talked to the CEO today, and I didn't realize they're a lot further along than I expected. They can legally use ketamine for therapy already, something I didn't know was even possible. They have a research partnership with the University of British Columbia, who is actually allowed to use psilocybin, so magic mushrooms, for therapy. Now, depending on when you're watching, that might actually be already underway. So the last company I'm going to talk about is called MindMed. Now, MindMed has been getting a ton of press lately because they've got a couple really notable shareholders. For example, Bruce Linton, the previous co-CEO of Cannabis Growth, and Kevin O'Leary, the famous investor on Shark Tank and Dragon's Den. So that's something a lot of people have been talking about, and they are going public with the symbol MMED. Now, MindMed is preparing phase 2 clinical trials of a non-hallucinogenic drug that's based on ibogaine. They're going to be using this to treat opioid addiction, and the trials are going to take place in New York under guidance from the FDA. The compound is yet to undergo human trials, but it's said to reduce people's addiction to opioids, morphine, and even sugar. Now, I think it goes without saying that all three of these companies are highly speculative and obviously not a fit for everybody. But it wasn't so long ago that the possibility of legalized cannabis wasn't even something that crossed a lot of our minds. So if you believe that there is a potential for psychedelic therapy to take a dent out of the pharmaceutical industry, then this could become a massive industry, and investors who are interested in getting in now could potentially see a large return. It's something that I'm looking at very closely, and you should as well. So I'm curious, what do you think? Would you invest in a legal psychedelic stock? Leave a comment below.
We out here.